As I'm sure you're all aware by now, Joaquin Phoenix won the Best Actor last weekend at the Oscars for his role in Joker, and during his speech where he talked about all the different forms of injustice throughout the world, he also drew attention to what happens in the dairy industry.
We feel entitled to artificially inseminate a cow, and when she gives birth, we steal her baby, even though her cries of anguish are unmistakable. And then we take her milk that's intended for a calf, and we put it in our coffee and our cereal.
Of course, as we could expect, this caused a lot of controversy within the dairy farming community, and many dairy farmers are not particularly pleased that Joaquin Phoenix took the opportunity to state an objective reality about what happens within their industry. So I thought maybe for this video, what we could do is we could go through some tweets, maybe some videos, and we could critique and look at exactly what it is that dairy farmers are saying in response to Joaquin. So let's start off nice and easy with a few tweets because there's some interesting videos coming up, so I think we should ease ourselves into what's been said by these farmers. And so this first tweet says, completely uneducated celebrities like Joaquin Phoenix are doing this to our nation's hard-working farmers. Do you all really want to starve? I think so Joaquin Phoenix stands on stage and says, cows are taken away from mothers, and a dairy farmer's response is to say, do you all really want to starve? I don't know, I feel like I missed that bit in Joaquin's speech where he said that he wanted everyone to starve. I mean, he merely just stated what happens objectively within the industry. I also think it's amusing that because farmers are hardworking, now all of a sudden means that what they're doing is morally justifiable. I mean, I don't think we could deny for a second that human traffickers are of course hardworking, but we'd never say that human trafficking is morally justifiable just because those who commit the act apply themselves when they do it. So that tweet was actually a response to this tweet. So I'll read this tweet and we'll go through what it means, because it's quite interesting and manipulative in its tone, of course. My dad asked me this morning in a depressed voice, do you get the feeling that we are losing the battle? But that's what they want us to think. Say a big lie enough times and even a farmer like my dad starts to believe it. But dairy isn't going anywhere. Now, there's two things that dairy farmers are great at, and the first thing is exploiting sentient beings for profit, and the second thing is portraying themselves as the victim in that situation, which is actually quite impressive, because I imagine it's quite hard to portray yourself as the victim when you're, of course, the oppressor causing suffering to others. But dairy farmers do this quite seamlessly at times, and I think what's interesting is the way they use this depressed voice. You see this and you think, oh my goodness, this is terrible, this dairy farmer, he's saying this, he feels so beaten up by it, he's depressed, he feels like he's losing, that's so sad, how could Joaquin say this? But it doesn't really make any sense, does it? Because what they say afterwards is they want us to think that. They say a big lie enough times, but what is the lie? That's what confuses me about a lot of these responses from dairy farmers, is they're saying that Joaquin is lying, that's not what it's like. But he's only stating what is objectively true. Dairy cows are using this propaganda that we keep perpetuating. But all he said is what everyone knows to be true, and what dairy farmers do day in, day out to make money from their industry. So I don't know what this lie is. And this bit at the end, dairy farming isn't going anywhere. Shooting male calves in the head isn't going anywhere. Forcibly impregnating mothers isn't going anywhere. Taking babies away from their mothers isn't going anywhere. Taking mothers to slaughterhouses and cutting their throats isn't going anywhere. I think it's quite cute, if anything, that they say dairy isn't going anywhere, because I can definitely think of one place that it's going. In the biggest R-rated film of all time, and not only that, but he's considered as one of the most highly regarded actors, not only of his generation, but of history. So that's what we have on the one hand. And on the other hand, we have Bryn Davies. Let's see exactly what it is that Bryn thinks is a good response to what Joaquin said.
Let's raise our glass to Mr. Phoenix for his Oscar winner. Cheers, mate.
What I like about we can show what farming's like, we can portray the real imagery behind farming, we don't have to worry about propaganda, we should get on Twitter and spread the message. And then this happens, isn't it? It's almost like farmers like, right, let's act normal, don't do anything weird, don't do anything strange, don't do anything that people who are not within the industry will think is a bit strange, right? Just act normal. There's also a few more clips on Twitter of farmers.
Dagnummit, Sal Joe, get them kids out of here. Get them kids out of here and put a diaper on them. Don't do anything weird. I'm about to film. Try to act normal for a minute, okay? That's enough of that now. Let's turn this Earthling Ed off for a second here and let me talk to you. I got a glass of milk. And you might be thinking here, this is for Joaquin Phoenix. Nah, this milk here, this is raw milk too. This ain't no factory formed. Let's tell the mainstream people that's all there really is out there. Edward Gaunt, or whatever your damn name is. Ain't had no fat like that in years, have you? I can tell by your sunken eyes. Sinking into your head as if your brain's shrinking. which is quite impressive, using them big old words on us, where there ain't no fat on your brain, and using them words. Oh, Edward. He think we dumb, huh? He think us old country folk dumb. Yeah, we poor, we dumb. We dumb. He think we so dumb. He think we just ain't know nothing. We just growed up in the country by the cows, working on the chicken farm. You can either go to the feather pulling department, or you can go to the cutlet department, or you can go work on the farm. But we too dumb. We don't know. We don't have no feelings, us dumb folk, us country folk. We too dumb to have feelings. But we're the oppressors, because we're too dumb to know no better. Don't Earthling Ed know that? Don't he feel bad about us being so dumb to not know no better? To not have any feelings for these animals because we just don't know no better. We're too dumb. Oh, Earthling Ed. Let me tell you something about this milk here, Earthling Ed. This milk here got more nutrients in it than what you had eaten all this year so far. Yeah, you looking up on chronometer there. You go on in and put all that fancy words in and fancy numbers in and doop, 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 doop on your fancy little computer. I don't know how to work all that, but I'll tell you what. What you want to tell the people, Earthling Ed? You want to tell the people that factory farms is all there is to have? That's all there is to ever know? Oh, you right. You right. Nobody talking about starving. That's right, because y'all too dumb. Y'all too rich to understand that. Sitting in your fancy apartment. You can't understand the struggle, Earthling Ed. You don't understand that sort of thing. Okay? Us normal folk that have to eat beans and rice sometimes, we also depend on our milk to nourish our bodies. And we may not have big old plant-based propaganda mainstream machines backing us and writing our damn scripts, but I'll tell you what, we smart enough to know how to nourish our damn kids. Okay, so let me be serious for a second, guys. Because if I were to be able to talk to him, I would tell him this. And I would also like you guys to know, the people he's putting this message out to, this message that you don't have to eat meat to be healthy, to thrive, and actually you can even be healthier if you're not eating animal products. And the masses he's putting this message out to, he's saying it as it's just a universal fact, as if everybody understands this and knows this, and the people who are eating meat are just doing it because it's yummy and tasty and they're too lazy to give it up. Okay, so the people he's talking to, the most of the mainstream people that he's putting this out, and he's counting on this message, he's counting on the fact that they believe this. There are so many omnivores that believe this. They think they just, don't want to do it. They don't want to put forth the effort to be healthier, quote unquote, and to do better for the environment and all that. I used to believe that. Yeah, he and others like him are counting on people to be ignorant and believe this. But he knows there are people like me that do not believe this. We do not believe this. We do not think. We know we cannot nourish ourselves and our children on just plants. So whether we are right or he is right, doesn't matter. Just stick with me for a minute on my train of thought. That doesn't even matter. What I'm saying is, you understand we don't believe this shit. And no animal is worth it to us. We will do everything in our power to feed ourselves and our children. And also know, this is the real work. This is the real work you have to put in. when you're actually farming yourself, or you're making sure you source quality, you are going to the farms that the food comes from. The real work is not picking up the fake plant burger, and if you have the money to choose which, all the fake stuff you're going to eat, instead of picking up the regular meat in the grocery store. That's not the real work. The real work is learning how to hunt, learning how to support yourself, sustain yourself. So yeah, just know that these country folk that you think you're so much better than, you think we're just too simple-minded to understand all this, or too lazy to want to do anything about this. We're the ones putting in the real work. Just know this. And know that we will not give up. We will put up a damn fight. You will never take our animals. Understand this. And we do not abuse our animals. You know nothing about farming. Factory farming is not the only way. We understand that we need animals to survive, so we don't waste. We appreciate every bit that we get, and we take care of them. We do not abuse them.
No, there is no necessity for us to consume animal products. And all those horrible things that we're currently doing to animals are entirely unnecessary, are entirely needless, and cannot be morally justified.
So just real quick, just hang in there with me for a moment. Since we're doing this theoretical thing, I want to bring God into it just for a moment. And I know people hate when I do this, but it doesn't matter if you believe in God or not. Just theoretically, just imagine you do. Imagine you believe that we were created by a creator. Let's just pretend for a moment. Play with me. We were created, and God had this perfect food. That would sustain our bodies, help us thrive, our human bodies, and, keep us healthy. This certain way of eating that works perfectly with our machinery. Okay, so whatever that perfect food is, for it to be, why would it be just plants? Why would we crave animals? Never stop craving them, even after you've been vegan for a decade or so. So for that to be true, for God to be like, okay, this is the perfect food for you to eat. Fruit, vegetables, every meal get in some beans, tempeh, tofu, some kind of protein, because you got to keep that up as well. Make sure you're shipping all these foods from all across the world, because you need this huge variety too. Make sure you're getting your supplements, because the soil is not good. So for that to make any sense, in a theoretical sense, for that to make sense, that God created us and created this food for us to eat, shouldn't we be craving that food? Shouldn't we be only craving that food? The food that is going to nourish us? Shouldn't we not be so satiated after we eat a burger? So much more than filling our stomach with pounds of salad? So we're being punished then. Theoretically, if you believe in God and you believe He designed us to be vegan, He's punishing us. Because why else would this be, the reality? Anyway, something to think on.
So, a lot of vegans want animal products. Like, that's the food you want.